What is up, gamers? Welcome back to another video, man. Another Starfield video. First off, I just want to send a shout out to everybody, man, who's been engaging on the previous videos, man. You guys have blown my mind. I was not expecting such engagement, man, but I do appreciate the discussions, the opinions, the varying opinions, man, on the video. You guys have blown my mind. I just want to say thank you to everyone. And yeah, but following from my previous video where I posed the question to you as a gamer, does your skepticism and your expectations ruin your gaming experience? And in particular, a game like Starfield, did it ruin your experience with the game? And does it ruin the experience of the game by placing too much weight on the opinion of others? You know, so following from that video, we have Todd Howard in a recent interview with Ted Price, talking about the expectations for Starfield with fans, and he raises a couple of interesting things here. So we're going to react to that, and I'm gonna give my opinion on the matter. As always, guys, sound off in the comments below on your thoughts, if you agree with what he's saying, or you disagree and things like that, man. Let's get talking. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Hey, look at that. Insomniac Games and Bethesda Game Studio together discussing games. The console wars are over. The war is over, man. Yay.
In terms of expectations, since you've been the game's primary spokesperson since you announced it back in 2018, what was one thing you really wanted fans to understand before it came out?
I mean, there are a number of things. That one's always tricky. I think the first thing is we've been living with it for...
Yeah, I can pretty much confirm that a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree, when this game was first announced, no one really knew what it was. There was a lot of interpretation of what exactly this game is.
For a while, Starfield, but it's a new IP, right? So it's a new game. It has a lot of new ways of experiencing it compared to our previous games. So the main thing was setting up like, hey, this has some DNA of ours. It has some things that we like to do in it, but it's still
it has a lot of DNA of your previous games, a lot of DNA. Still a new IP, but it has a lot of DNA of your previous games.
Brand new thing. And I think because of when we announced it and we were talking about it a little bit early, we're sort of selling like the big idea first, or explaining that, like what is the overall feeling of the game. And that's how we start making games, where we want to define the experience. What is the experience of this game? But given its scale and given what we've done in the past, people don't know how to interpret that always. Like, okay, I can do anything. So we're not giving them the specific list of here are the things you cannot do. And then as we get closer to...
yeah, and that is what Bethesda's always done in the games. They don't tell you exactly how to play it. You gotta discover these things on your own. And I think they took it a step further with Starfield, that 3 weeks after release, right, people are still discovering new things. Oh, this is how you do that. Oh, I discovered this thing, you know. So it's it's crazy. It's a game about discovering things that you're discovering functionalities of the game as well. Okay.
Launch. We did like the Starfield Direct sort of in the summer, where that's where, hey, we know everything that's in the game. We're able to sort of more clearly explain, these are the systems, here's what they look like, here's how they work, and so forth. Yeah,
and if you go back to the Starfield Direct, like exactly what I said in my previous video, I went back to it and I rewatched it, and everything they showed there is in the game. Now, they didn't exactly explain how every system works, and words like seamless place exploration probably misled people to raising high expectations that this was going to have space traversal and exploration like No Man's Sky with RPG elements. So maybe those, you know, throwing around such words were kind of misleading. But if you go back to the Starfield Direct, everything that was said there and shown there is in the game. It is the game. So again, maybe we raised our expectations a bit too high. But yeah, Todd, saying words like seamless space exploration and traversal, man. I can see how people could have misinterpreted that as expecting that we would have No Man's Sky, space traversal and exploration. But yeah, it is what it is, man. The game is out already. It doesn't have that. Maybe they can add it in eventually. I doubt it, but okay.
But it is hard. It is very, you know this better than anybody. Setting expectations when you're doing these things is hard. You want people to be excited, but you also want them to just look at it like any other game and judge it for what it is.
Oh, interesting. And that's exactly what I said in my previous video. We gotta enjoy games for what it is. Like I said that in the previous video, is that maybe we set our expectations too high, that we can't look past the shortcomings of the games, because every game nowadays has shortcomings, right? But we've gotten to a point where we can't look past or get by those shortcomings, where our expectations have not been met, that we cannot enjoy the game for what it is. Because Starfield, as it currently is, there's a lot to love there. There's a lot to experience, there's a lot to discover. I'll say it again, and I stand on this. The game is not a barren, empty space where there's nothing to do. It's not that. I'll say it again, yes, there can be a lot of type of fetch me quests that is basically boring and can become tedious, but there's so much more on offer here, but people just haven't given it the chance to experience it. But yeah, man, that's just my opinion, by the way.
And so it's tricky to find that balance, honestly.
I love that you bring that up, and the fact that you, at near launch, you were starting to help fans understand what the game truly is. So you're right; it's a balancing act that we all have in terms of managing expectations. So
yeah, but he shouldn't have said seamless space exploration or whatever the word he said. But he did also say it's a Bethesda game, a Bethesda RPG through and through. That should have really indicated to people that, hey, you're going to get the RPG game that you know and love from previous Bethesda games. It was not going to be a No Man's Sky. I myself expected to at least have the space traversal and exploration, to fly to and from planets like in No Man's Sky. But like I said in my previous videos, if you've been following my channel, I also don't see myself spending 50-20 minutes every time to fly to and from planets. And that is where the fast travel system is very convenient. But I would have still liked the option as a gamer, as a player, to have the option to do that. So when I'm exploring new planets, I can fly to and from those planets. But I'm not going to do it for every planet. I'm not going to fly to and from planets I've already visited, I'm not going to spend 15-20 minutes just doing that. That's where the fast travel system is convenient. But like I said, it would have been great to have the option to do that.
So was there anything else that you did to help fans understand what was coming without either dampening their expectations and keeping their imaginations on fire?
I think the direct was, again, I'm referencing the Starfield Direct, the one we did at E3, non-E3 Xbox showcase thingy. There's a couple of things there. One was, it sounds weird, but I think it's important internally, is to show the passion of the team, how long we spent on this, and getting a lot of people up there talking about the systems, because their excitement for it, these are the people who made those specific things, and there are hundreds more that we didn't show. I think that was important for us to be like how passionate we are about the game. When you get in a specific system.
Interesting, talking about passion. Now, I did a previous video on Witcher 3 and Baldur's Gate 3 where I talked about those being passion projects. So let me know, do you think that Starfield was a passion project? Because when you watch the Starfield Direct, at least in my opinion, I could see that, hey, these guys were really passionate about their game. Now, yes, they've taken creative decisions that might not meet your style of game or your expectations. That doesn't mean that they were not passionate. because the game lacks something which you expected to be there. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it comes down to creativity, but at the end of the day, also the creative decisions can impact the game, and we've seen here how lackluster the space exploration was, that it turned off a lot of people from the game. You know, but at the end of the day, you cannot just say that because of a lack of certain creative decisions that they took shows that there is a lack of passion. Like we had the debacle with the whole start up menu of Starfield, where they're saying that it's a sign of a development crew that is overworked and and that lacks passion, which is insane. But yeah, man, let me know down in the comments below. Do you feel like Starfield was a passion project for Bethesda?
What's good is like you can just show a couple screens. You can show 3 seconds of footage with a menu, and whereas like on a first view people don't get it, you know they're gonna go on Reddit and other places and tear it apart.
Yeah,
it's just awesome. Like somebody will spend 100 hours going through and figuring out what every skill does. We still like, and this is we've noticed this with it. This is not a surprise for us. I think it's a surprise maybe for the audience. It's a very complex game, and we were okay, for better or worse, with people discovering things in it and sharing that. So
yeah,
they're still finding things. By the time this runs, they're still going to be finding things.
yeah, that's exactly like I said just a few moments ago. I'm still finding great things in this game. Like for example, one of the best things I discovered was just exploring one moon, right? And I came across a bounty hunter, and because I had the wanted perk, I was like, yo, is this bounty hunter coming after me? Instead, no. He wanted to hire me to take out another target, which was part of the ecliptic something. I don't know how you say the name, but it was a wanted captain that went rogue, and he needed my help on that, and then I accepted, and man, it turned into one massive gunfight, which was a lot of fun. Man. Now, it's things like that that's really interesting. That you go out there, you put the time in, right? You get invested because you discover things like this. The same way I discovered the cryptic stalker in space, where this cryptic stalker is like rooting for you, but they're very cryptic. They're not saying who they are, how they know about you, but I'm invested to see where it goes further. You see, so it's things like this that you discover as you play along and as you explore that keeps you invested. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what interesting things you discovered in the game.
And I think that is a little bit of a bonus because it is a single player game where people are able to share these water cooler moments the next day. Be like, did you know you could do this? How you can? I didn't know that. Why don't they explain that?
Yeah, unfortunately, Todd, it's great that you want your players to explore the game themselves, right? And you're not holding their hand, and Bethesda's known for that. But there's a lot of people that are not fan of BGS games, and they're coming into the game and they're not being told what to do, how to do certain things. To be fair, it's going to turn people off from the game as well. So it's a fine line that you have to do correctly, because a lot of new players will come into the game that did not play previous Bethesda games, you know? So it's a new mechanic to them. So somewhere there has to be some hand holding. Otherwise, they're just going to be turned off from the game.
There's a lot of that going on, and that's, understandable.
I have to ask, are there any moments that you've seen where fans have sort of discovered an emergent instance and said, hey, check it out?
There's a lot of things they're doing with zero gravity that we did a little bit. Obviously, the shipbuilding is a big one. We love the shipbuilding.
It's the best thing.
Cool shipbuilding. We had some funny things, some interesting things, and just how far people have pushed it, how much they like to share that, or multi-page building guides. It's sort of like, if you give the people the tools, they will surprise you so much. And that's what we try to do, is give them these things that they can play with, from outpost building. Excuse me, I have my mic there.
Now, here's my take on this. The shipbuilding is great. It's great. You can alter the speed given the amount of engines you add, the reactors and things like that. Now, how much better or more immersive would it have been if you could actually fly and traverse the ship in space from planet to planet? That wouldn't take several or more hours. That is just my opinion there. Let me know what you think, man. I think it would have been much better to build your ship and then be able to actually take full control of it and fly from planet to planet. Like, yes, you can fly from planet to planet in the game, but it takes forever. It takes several hours, 7 hours of that. Look at Alana Pierce when she did the whole video where she flew to Pluto. It took way too long. Whereas they could have nerfed that somehow or changed it somehow where it takes like 5 minutes of that to fly to a planet. You know? I just think it would have added to the immersion, to the shipbuilding mechanic as well. You know, because adding different engines, the way you build your ship would have a different feeling. So every ship would feel different. Yes, it does feel different in the game currently with if you've unlocked all the skill trees, you know, you've unlocked all the mechanics to add different classes of ship parts and that, which is great. But I just feel like it could have been so much more better and more immersive. Let me know in the comments below if you agree.
From outpost building to like the shipbuilding, mods are a whole nother world. You know how fast that community gets going. So yeah.
I love the fact that it sounds like from the beginning you were designing systems that would be fairly open-ended for fans. And
they've always done that.
Was there
always.
one or two, or were there one or two in particular that you felt had the most potential, and has it shown its potential?
Shipbuilding really was the one because it was new for us. Like this has a lot of potential.
That is the new mechanic in the game.
You know, looks really unique that you can take with you as opposed to outpost or base building that we've done that you kind of leave.
Your ship is another companion
like,
if you look at it like that.
View the ship as this other character.
Yeah,
and that's whole part of the game we could talk about for a very long time. Ship combat and everything like that. So that was the one where we wanted to give people a lot of agency and creativity that we hadn't seen other places outside of maybe like Kerbal Space Program. That's a totally different thing. Yeah.
Well, okay. So one more question about systems.
Which is crazy now that we see that a lot of people are taking the stance all of a sudden that, oh, Bethesda games are so broken, the modders have to fix it. No, what are you talking about? Bethesda games have always been known for having great mod communities. They've embraced it so much, it's a part of who they are now. And the way they say, that the modders have to fix the games. The game is not broken. Yes, there are issues, but it's not. And I'll keep on coming down to this. The launch of Starfield is not as bad as Cyberpunk was in 2077. Or as Jedi Survivor was at the beginning of the year, where the game was just unplayable. This is not the case here. So I don't understand why all of a sudden now is the modding community for BGS a bad thing. Yes, there should have been DLSS and FOV sliders and that day one. There's no excuse of that. And Todd Howard, man, I don't know why. I don't know what decision was taken not to include that. It's just crazy, but that should have been included from the start. Because there are a lot of people that have NVIDIA GPUs, and most of your players, I'm sure, played it on PC as well. So not having that option there is inexcusable. But yeah, man, that is Todd Howard's expectation for Starfield from the fans, man. Let me know down below. Sound off in the comments, man. What do you think of what he said? Do you think there was misleading things in the Starfield Direct? Because in my opinion, everything they showed there was in the game at launch. Right, there could have been some misleading words they used, like the whole seamless space exploration thing. That could have made us as fans and gamers set our expectations too high. But yeah, it is what it is, man. The game is out. It's going into its first month. It's a big success, man. And yeah, at the end of the day, don't let anyone else's opinion or take or thoughts on the game ruin your experience. If you're loving the game, you're having fun on the game, man, just enjoy it, man. At the end of the day, gaming is the hobby, and we gotta love it, man. But with that being said, I'm gonna love and leave you guys, man, as always. I appreciate the support. If you found value in this video, man, do consider giving it a thumbs up. But I'll catch you in the next video, man. Rampage out. Peace.